Hello everyone, I'm Rizwan and I'm back with another video. I want to talk today about why filmmakers should not use social media. And you might be wondering why social media shouldn't be used by filmmakers because they have to share their work somehow, right? Yes, I think they should share their work, and I've been using social media for you know, since the time of Facebook, like around 2009, 2010. I was very much into Facebook. And when Instagram came around, I was very much into that as well. And up until very recently, I've been using social media very, very frequently. But here's the thing, I think social media can be very good and also very, very bad at the same time. And I think you have all heard many different stories. Like, it brings down your mood, it makes you go to depression, it makes you become jealous, it makes you feel a lot of different things. And I think it's all very true. And one of the main reasons I am not using Instagram right now is really because I feel like, for one, it's distracting me quite a lot. And as a filmmaker, you have to be constantly, not constantly, but it's very important that you keep yourself productive. Otherwise, um, if you're not productive, your ideas go down, your mood goes down, you don't know what to do. And eventually, it affects your work as well. And for me using Instagram, I felt like it was really taking away from the work I was putting in. I wasn't as productive as I could be, whether it was editing, filming, or writing, anything in general. I felt like it was really pulling me back. And the next thing is the just the people that are there. I feel like, if even if you got a lot of followers, it might change certain things. But for me at least, I don't have a lot of followers on social media, and even if I do, they are not really active. So because of that, it really does feel almost alone in a way, even though I have a lot of followers. And it feels like, even though I put a lot of work, I put a lot of effort, I do a lot of things to share to people, it feels like I'm just talking to nothing sometimes. And it really does demotivate me quite a lot. And because of that, I felt, uh, even if we put in a lot of work and we post it on social media, we post it on Instagram, and pretty much nobody's watching it. Like, what's the point? And that's just one of the reasons. And another one of the reasons is that, um, I see other people's work, and this is of course very common with social media. I'm not just saying this counts for me, but other people as well. They've seen that you see other people putting in a lot of different works, and how um, they're getting a lot of views and a lot of likes, and it feels like you're putting in the same type of work. I mean, not the same type of work exactly, but you're putting in the same amount of effort. But they come in with all these different gears and all these different people that they work with that you don't exactly have a connection to. It feels like, well, at the end of the day, I'm putting in the same amount of effort, but I'm not getting as much views because I'm not having the same gear. So it really does feel demotivating, because everyone in life is in a different situation. Some people have a lot of money, some people are able to go out and do a lot of these works, while you aren't, and you're sometimes just stuck at home, and you have to you have prior commitments with your life. So because of that, you're not able to just go out and work the whole day and gain a lot of money. So you couldn't buy as much gear as other people. So that kind of puts a lot of frustration in you as a filmmaker as well. So because of that, I don't feel like I don't feel like using social media as much. And then another reason is that um, it doesn't relate to filmmaking in general, but more so in life. Because, again, as I said, everyone is in a different pathway in life. Not everyone is going and they're 20 years old and already making a ton of money and they're living their life. It's not always like that for everyone. Um, Everyone has some kind of difficult events that happen in their life, traumatic events, issues in their personal life that prevent them from doing the things that they want. And because of that, they're set back, right? And this happens to many different people. Like, regardless of how much um, like money you have, or just even if you have a wild social life, sometimes you feel like you're really set back in a lot of things, and you see other people enjoying, like they're hanging out with their friends, they're already married, sometimes they have girlfriends and boyfriends, and they have these wild social lives, and they're going out with their friends every day, and you see that and you're like, oh, I don't have that. And it feels really starts to feel really lonely sometimes. And to a certain extent, when you think about it, you a filmmaker's journey or an artist's journey are not is not always destined and structured like other people, because an artist is thinking more about their art. They want to create their art, and because of that, they sacrifice a lot of things like social life and a mainstream way of living a life, like going out with their friends and going to work. They sacrifice that so that they can create their art. And sometimes, even though that's what the artist does, the artists are still human beings. So we still need some of those social interactions. We still need those connections and those way of working. And of course, we need money as well, and that sort of stability is still innately we still need it. But because of the life that we're living, we're sort of in a dilemma, and we don't always get that. Like um, this mainstream way of life, right? And when you see other people living a mainstream way of life that are not artists, you, uh, as a filmmaker at least, I feel like, okay, I'm not getting that, and maybe if I live that kind of mainstream life, that mainstream pathway, like study a really mainstream program, get into a job by, like, let's say by when you're 21 years old, and you already have a full-time job and full-time contracts, and you're making money, having stability, um, that does kind of start to weigh in on you. And uh, at the end of the day, it actually shouldn't really be like that, because I'm still in my 20s. I'm not an old guy, right? I'm not like in my 50s or 60s or anything like that. I shouldn't be really worrying about whether I'm living that kind of life at the end of the day, because I know that I could get there eventually. It's just that there are some things in my life that got delayed, and in the end of the day, that still shouldn't stop me. It still should be okay, and it shouldn't stop you either. Like uh, one of the people I majorly follow is Gary Vee. One of the things that he mentions is that he was 32 years old when he started a company, and if he could grind and hustle like that at that age, and he's like what 40, like he's 40 something years old, he's almost 50, and he's still grinding and hustling. If he could be like that, then why can't I? Like I'm still young. I'm almost 23, so I'm still very young. I could still try out and experiment a lot of things. So I shouldn't be worrying about that. But the problem is social media, it conditions me to worry like that, even though I shouldn't really think about it, right? I see all these people with these lavish lifestyles, and people who are on the same pathway as me, who are being better than me in a certain way. But at the end of the day, I don't know their lives personally. Maybe they're having issues as well. They might have personal life issues, but I don't know that exactly. They might even have financial issues, but I don't know that personally because they don't share it on social media. And even my life, people see my life on social media and they think, okay, this guy directed Fakir, and this guy worked with this big actor, which at the end of the day, it's not exactly like that. You don't know the whole story of what went on in my life, and uh, what what my journey is, right? So you couldn't exactly judge what's going on, because right now, to be very frank with you and to be very humble, I'm still a struggling director. I still struggle to make movies, and still struggle to connect with actors, and I still have financial issues. Like, it's not in terms of debt, okay? I don't have any debt in in that kind of way, but I couldn't really spend and buy gear in the way that other people can. And um, the movies that I want to make, I couldn't really make. And even if I go out and um, start projects, it's not always easy to get actors and get people to read my scripts, get people to work on my scripts, and like work together and collaborate on a script. That's not easy at all. I'm still very much alone in bringing together these projects, which again is, it should be okay. It's not a big deal. At the end of the day, I'm still I'm still making what I want and what I like, so it's still should be fine. And overall, that's the main thing that I want to get across, is that um, social media puts a sort of weightage on you, like, okay, you must be a certain way, otherwise you're not successful in life, which is not, you shouldn't follow that. Because once you follow these kinds of rules, but okay, you should be making this amount of money by this age, you should be having this kind of relationship, you should have this kind of friendship by this age. It's, at the end of the day, you don't know what I've been through, you don't know the type of life that I've had and the setbacks I've had, right? You don't know that. You don't know any of that. You don't know my cultural background. So you couldn't exactly judge me in the sense that, oh, you're 23, you don't have this, you don't have that, but you don't know my life. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know my culture, you don't know my background, you don't know my schooling, and the people that I was with, the environment that I was in. You don't know that. And that's why I think everyone should not judge their lives on other people's requirements. You should be, if you're happy doing what you're doing and you're not hurting anyone, and you have a long term goal already set, and maybe you don't have any goals, you just want to live life in the moment and have only short term goals. I mean, that's fine as well. I mean, nobody's stopping that. I think as long as you're happy and you're not hurting anybody, that should be fine. And that's what I think. And yeah, I hope this video might be helpful to you. It certainly was kind of helpful to me. I just want to let it out in some sort of way, just to talk about it. And I'm sure I'm sure many people can relate to this. So yeah, that's about it. Cheers.